watching, everybody say hi, where you're coming from or where you're watching from. So we got a Hawaii in there. I love that. I don't know why it makes me happy. Like, I hope you're getting some sun, lots of Texas. So welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Thanks Michaels for having us. We usually aren't in the card making, but we've got some awesome products that work great with any of your seasonal and holiday card making and your projects. So I've got some examples that I'm going to show you how to make using FolkArt paint, like Nate said. So we've got just a great variety of FolkArt paint, and they bundled them for me, so I knew which ones went with which cards. That's why they've got rubber bands on them. So we have got FolkArt paint, and we're going to be using Mod Podge. So if you are not familiar, Mod Podge is the #1 glue decoupage sealer all in one. It is amazing for paper crafting. So I take it if you guys are joining this 12 days of card making that Michaels is hosting, that you are very familiar with Mod Podge, but if you are not, it is an amazing product. It is great for paper crafting, for seasonal crafting, for decor. There are so many great formulas that Michaels carries. They have the largest selection. So everything from different finishes like matte and gloss and sparkle. There is photo transfer, just amazing to glue and seal your projects, and great for paper crafting. It's awesome with glitter if you want to add some sparkle. And then we're going to be using FolkArt, which is, again, a number of different formulas that Michaels carries. So I've got metallic and regular. So this is a matte finish, and I've got some metallics of FolkArt. Again, rich, creamy, beautiful colors, really easy to work with. Again, so fun for paper crafting if you haven't thought about making your own paper, which we're going to do today. So I've got that. I've got my... Oh, I forgot to tell you guys also, Stephen is in the other studio joining us. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat and he will answer them or relay them to me, and we can answer them in real time for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Okay. And at the end, we are going to pick a winner at random, and we are going to send you all these goodies that we are using here, and you can make your own crafts and cards this season. So you want to stay tuned to the end. We'll pick a winner. Okay, so other than our product, I have got some things here. So we have got Recollections, and I just saved the packaging so I can tell you guys. This is Recollections Value Card Pack. So this is a great pack. It comes with the envelopes and the blank cards. Again, you can use any type of card you have. If you want to fold your own cardstock, this is really great because they're already scored. So, and Michaels has a ton of great pre-made cards, and I mean pre-made by they're packaged, you just get to decorate them. So I've got my cards here, and I'm just going to be using white. We also have brushes. So I've got FolkArt brushes here. I have got the Recollections rubber stamp set. So this is really fun. Again, these are just fun things that we don't typically do on our classes. So it's really fun to do these with you. So this is an amazing set. It is 68 pieces, and it is the entire alphabet, and it's got some really fun characters. So we've got hashtags and exclamation points, and it's uppercase and lowercase. So I love that you can truly spell out, because a lot of times when you get a stencil or a stamp, you can only get capital or all lowercase, and you have to purchase two, but this thing has it all, and your numbers. So this is upper and lowercase. This is a great thing. So these are rubber stamps. And again, you don't have to use ink with stamps. So I'm going to show you how to use it with our FolkArt paint. So we're going to be using that. I've got some scissors here. I've got a pencil. I have some wood shapes, wood letters, and some cookie cutters. And I'm only just going to use these to make my shapes. So I'm using this to cheat, to draw my shapes. You can absolutely freehand or print a shape off of the internet and use it as a template or a guide or a stencil, but I'm going to cheat. And again, Michael's has a lot of great wood shapes. So these are really inexpensive. They're great to use to trace and make things out of. Like if I want a tree, I'm going to use this. Cookie cutters are great. We've actually painted these cookie cutters because honestly, if it sits around here long enough, it gets paint on it. So these are actually ornaments that we painted, but I'm going to use them just to show you how great they are. Grab them and use them to trace a shape. And I've I've got these wood letters again. These are Art Minds letters, and I'm going to use these to trace around just to show you just some fun, different things. We really want to inspire you. You know, I love when people craft along, and if you want to craft along with us, that's amazing. But I also think that, you know, you guys are so creative. So I think it's a great way to really take these tips and techniques and make it your own. So I'm going to get started, and I am going to grab my cardstock. So you can use paper or cardstock. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be making our own paper. So what I'm doing is, you can see, I want to show you the cards first. I should have showed you that. All right, so here is fall. You guys, it's still fall. I'm like, honestly decorated for Christmas this morning. My husband woke up and he was like, really? And I was like, well, Halloween's over. I was like, I'm ready. Let's do this. I think we all need it this year. So, but it is still fall. So if you want to do fall, Thanksgiving, this is a great pattern and design. Maybe it's better if I hold it up like that. So this is our FolkArt. We made this metallic paper, and then we just cut out our leaves and painted, and we used our stamps. So I'm going to do that one. And again, you can personalize these with these stamps any way you want. And then this is a fun one. This is not seasonal, but it's just a fun, it could be like a New Year's, but just a cute little yay, just to say hello. Again, you can personalize this, and it's just like a little thought bubble. And these reminded us of fireworks. So again, just a fun thing. Again, if you want to take this into New Year's, or you could color coordinate it for like a birthday or just a regular greeting card. And then I've got Christmas here. So again, Christmas tree, and I'm going to show you how to do this. And we also have one for Hanukkah. So again, just a great way to personalize these cards for your friends and family and loved ones. Okay, so there's our examples. I'm going to set these out for you guys to see. And look at that. You can see that metallic, how shiny that is. Okay, so I'm going to show you just how easy, and I've got my paper already painted out for you guys, but I just want to show you how easy it is. Okay, so I'm working on palette paper. Just protect your space. This FolkArt and Mod Podge, they're also made right here in the USA, and they are non-toxic. So that is great. We are super proud of both of those. It easily cleans up with soap and water. Now, once it dries, it's permanent. So you definitely don't want to let it dry in your workspace or anything, but totally non-toxic. If you want to wear an apron, fine. But it's not going to hurt if it gets on your hands, because you can just clean it up with soap and water. So I am working on just palette paper, and then I've got another little piece here to put my paint out. And I'm just going to show you how easy it is to make your own paper. And I know that sounds really silly, but I would have never thought to paint my own paper instead of buying, you know, or you're at the store and you're trying to think and plan it out. Just grab your paint and make your own paper. So I'm going to do, so this is antique copper. This is FolkArt, and this is metallic. And again, you can see it's super rich and creamy and shiny. I'm just going to grab my brush, and I'm using a large brush here. And this is such great coverage. You only need one coat. And I am just painting. This is a great way to get the kids involved, the entire family, like put the music on and get everybody involved and make your own paper, make your own cards. It is a really fun activity. If you're getting together with friends, have a card making party. So I love that idea. Our friends, we just did like a floral arranging party not too long ago. We have a wreath party coming up, but I love a card party. So this would be something really fun you could do. You could all pre-make your papers and then bring them to the party, and you could swap papers. So that's a really fun idea too. So this is all you need to do. And then you've got this beautiful shiny metallic paper. Now this is going to dry flat. Don't worry about it. It's curling up because it's wet, but this will dry. And what you're going to end up having, I'm going to slide another piece of palette paper over here. Okay, so what you're going to get once you paint out all your paper, just let it dry. It's going to dry really fast. You can hit it with a hair dryer. We always have a hair dryer handy, or put it in front of a fan. This is what you're going to have. So we've got metallic. We've got this beautiful green color. Another metallic, a gold. You can even wrap presents with this. And then we've got this great blue color. So we've got our painted papers. Then what you're going to do is you are going to trace your shapes. So I'm going to do the fall one real quick here. So all you need to do is trace your shapes or freehand. So I'm going to do a leaf on here and show you how easy. So again, I'm using a pencil. You could also use chalk, which is really great when you're drawing, because then you can just kind of wipe it off and you don't need to worry about your lines. So chalk is also great to have. So I'm just freehanding leaves. Again, print a pattern, use a pattern that you already have, use a stencil. Again, I love cookie cutters, are so great. So I'm just going to trim this. And what I'm actually going to do is, so I've drawn on there. I don't know if you can see my pencil. Can you guys see that? So I've drawn my leaves. Then I'm going to take my other paints. So I've got berry wine, which is this beautiful deep cranberry color. Berry wine, I mean, that's the perfect description. I have got golden ochre, which I love. I'm going to put this, it's almost empty. So this really beautiful mustard color. And on the fall card here. And then I am going to use, I'm going to put a little bit more of this copper on there. And then I'm going to take my brush. Okay, and I'm going to use 2 different size brushes. I'm going to make this easy. So if you're not a painter and you consider yourself a card maker and a scrapbooker, I'm going to make this really easy for you. So you're not like, oh, I don't know that brush stroke and brushes make me nervous. Let's just grab our brushes. I'm going to grab 2 different sizes here. Let's see, this one's smaller. So I've got a 10 and a half, but I just basically, I'm using flat brushes and I'm going to let these brushes do the work for you. So 2 different sizes, just so I can get 2 different size strokes. Does that make sense? Okay. And then I'm just going to follow this, and don't let this stress you out. If you are not a painter, we don't need to add water. We're just going to dip our brush right in the paint, and I'm going to go over my lines. So I'm going to make it look like then we cut it out. So it doesn't look very uniform and perfect. It is going to look like a really beautiful pattern that we cut out of scrapbook paper. So I am just doing simple 1 stroke. Look at that coverage. Can you guys see that? I'm going to keep holding it up. It doesn't look like anything yet, but just take the brush and let it do the work for you. I'm just pressing down and pulling. So that's all I'm doing. That's all I did. Okay, so can you guys see my lines?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna rinse this out. I'm gonna grab my smaller brush. I'm gonna do the same thing with the yellow. Right into my paint, do the same technique. Again, this FolkArt, the coverage is so great, so easy. Don't worry if you're not a painter. You can paint though, I promise. If you've never picked up a paintbrush, this is a great, fun way to do it. Okay, so you're making your own paper. So I've added my yellow. I'm gonna rinse my brush out. And let the paintbrush work for you. Don't be stressed like you have to make a certain shape. Like you're just pushing down, you're putting your paintbrush down and pull. Quick, easy little strokes. Then I'm gonna take my copper, and I'm actually going to go on the side. So instead of the flat, as I was doing it, I'm going to go up on the side, but I'm going to do the same thing. So just smaller and just fill in. There's no right or wrong. Just fill in. You can overlap. So if you want to add some copper on top of the red, that berry wine, go ahead. So just small little strokes. Okay. So I'm going to hit it with a hair dryer really quick. It's already starting to dry. Okay, dry. And anytime you have a hair dryer, you just want to make sure that you toggle between hot and cold. You don't want to put a ton of hot air or a ton of cold. So just toggle between hot and cold when you're drying. So that's dry already. Now I'm going to take, and I'm just going to trace my leaves. And so remember, you're cutting over some of those strokes that you made, but that gives it that look that it was actually cut out of paper.
Here,
So I'm just gonna trim this out. Yeah.
are you using any particular kind of paper?
So I'm actually using the cardstock, the Recollections cardstock. I would recommend cardstock rather than a thinner, just like a printer paper. It just is easier to work with. It has like more body to it and it's easier to cut out and paint on. So I'm just using cardstock.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut my leaves out, cannot talk, leaves. Okay, so I've cut my 3 leaves, as you can see. So you guys, it's so pretty. You can see that metallic. So that was super simple. And I'm gonna take my paper and then I would use a paper cutter or a ruler for this, but I'm just gonna trim this out really easy. So you would want to make sure you have super straight edges, but I'm just trimming this paper. Or you could paint directly on the cardstock or on the card. So again, these come in a pack. You could just open this, paint this, and then just fold it back up. This is just regular paper we're using for our example.
Do you recommend multi-surface paint?
No, so you could use multi-surface or regular. Either one would work great. This is just regular folk art. It's great for paper, but multi-surface also works. So again, I would use a ruler and or a paper cutter if I was really trimming this out, but I just want to show you guys. And then all you do is you fold. So I've got my card here, so you can see double-sided. And the great thing is, I got yellow paint on there, this does not crack. So our paint literally is not cracking. So that's really important too. It's such a great quality. I'm just using a baby wipe to wipe up here. It is such, I just used a baby wipe on this and it did not take the paint off. Our paint is such a high quality, but such a great value that there's not cracking. So it doesn't feel brittle or cheap. You know, like this card feels nice. And again, this one has been done. We only did the front of this one, but this one is front and back. I love that it's finished off. Okay, so I folded this. And now I'm just going to use my Mod Podge because Mod Podge is a glue and sealer all in one and it dries clear. So it comes out of the bottle milky. So you can see it's milky white. And then I am going to grab my brush and I'm going to use it as a glue and sealer. So I'm going to put it on the back of my leaf. Now I'm going to put my leaf down first and then I'm going to stencil. So I'm going to put this down. And because it's a glue and sealer all in one, it doesn't matter if it gets on the outside of your leaf.
Kira, there were some questions earlier about the Mod Podge, so I was going to wait till we got to this question. So could somebody use Ultra if that's the only kind of Mod Podge they had?
Absolutely. You could use you can use Ultra. But just remember, I would say I'm using matte right now. But just remember, it's going to dry matte. So if you're putting matte over a metallic or shiny, you want to make sure, like I like to match my finishes. Does that make sense? So if I'm using something that is metallic, I would typically use a gloss. If I'm using something that's matte, I would use a matte finish. So that's just something to think about. But absolutely. And if you can't get a lot of control with the Mod Podge Ultra in a spray, you can always pour it out and dip a brush into it, just like I am with the regular Mod Podge, if you just want to get a little bit more control or concentration of it. So just a tip.
Yeah, it's a good tip.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see how fast this is happening. And I was talking and put my leaf in the wrong place, but you can definitely do any design you want. And the great thing about Mod Podge is that you can move it around. You've got a little bit of, you know, time there. You can play with it too. Okay. So that is going to dry. So again, that looks crazy milky, but it's going to dry clear. Okay. And then we're going to stamp. So I'm going to let that dry while I get my stamps out. So again, I'm using the Recollections. It is 68 pieces, which is great. So it's got uppercase, lowercase, and some fun symbols and numbers. So I'm going to pull this out. These are great. And you don't have to use ink. You can use paint. So I've got this brand new set. I love getting brand new things out of the packaging. And I'm going to use, we used green on this. So I'm going to grab this thicket, which is a really beautiful green. So it matches the leaves. I'm going to put some down on my palette paper. And then I'm going to write fall. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to do lowercase like we did here. So I'm just going to grab the F. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it in the paint, and then you want to offload. So you can also, if you want, you can use a brush and you can brush the paint on your letter if that's easier for you. So I would also, if you are not, you haven't done stamping before, I would definitely just do like a couple tests. So you can see. So if you don't want to dip, I would just take a paintbrush and paint that. And I'm going to wipe it off. We always have baby wipes here. So that's a really great tip. So I just want to show you how easy that cleans up. So if you have stamps, I know, if you have stamps and you only used ink before and you're like, oh, I don't want to put paint on my stamps. What are you doing, lady? What are you doing, Kira? Look how easy that comes off. That was just with a baby wipe. Again, it's going to wash right off. Just don't let it dry on there. But all you need to do is wipe it off. So if that makes you feel better, if you have some stamps that you want to try with paint, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to paint on my F. So again, you can dip in or you can brush on. And I'm going to go vertical for this one. So F, don't spell anything wrong. I'm going to grab my A. I'm going to do the same. And I'm just using my FolkArt paint right on the stamp. Just line that up. And I would reapply between, those aren't very even. I would reapply your paint in between stamps. So again, just a really great, and again, this Mod Podge is still wet. So it's gonna dry completely clear. And this is what you're gonna get. So again, two different versions, fun. Again, we've used our FolkArt paint to make our paper. It's super flexible. Again, this feels like a real card. We made our leaves and then we stamped right on there. So really fun to do.
Kira, since you just completed that one, could you show the color of the copper paint that you used one more time?
Yeah, so we are using anti-copper, and there's paint on my bottle. Anti-copper is what we're using. So it is a beautiful, warm copper color. It's very warm. It's great for fall. So it's anti-copper, and it is FolkArt.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to wipe my stamps off. So again, I'm just using a baby wipe. Again, we use them so much, but again, so great just to have on hand. So I'm not going to ruin my stamps and you can reuse them. So I'm going to wipe these off. I didn't even use that one. There we go. Okay. So we'll just keep going down the line if that's okay. If anybody has questions, let me know. So this is another really fun one. So this is just using a white card. We didn't paint this, but again, you could totally personalize this and doing the same technique. I'm going to use a piece of wood though. And this is my green paper. Again, this is the same green from the leaves. And I'm just going to trace my Christmas tree. So again, I love using just things that you have around and make it easy. Don't drive yourself crazy. Like I have to make the perfect Christmas tree and I don't know how to draw. Use what you have. Use a cookie cutter, use a kid's toy, use an ornament. This is just a wood blank that Michael's has. And then I'm going to cut out, my tree and I'm going to put the dots on after on this guy. So again, you could paint and then cut out, but I'm going to cut him out first. And I'm going to decorate my tree. Again, both ways is great. If you want to do a giant sheet, what you could do is you could do a giant sheet, make all your polka dots, and then just cut your trees out, right? If you wanted to kind of mass produce these, it's a really fun way to do it. But I'm just going to cut this out for you guys. It's fun to be able to do just one-offs and not have to do a bunch of them today. Again, it's all about the process. So if you're like, oh, I really want to get into making my own paper, this is such an easy and fun way to do that. It's one of a kind. It's just really therapeutic. It's, you know, takes some me time. The holidays get crazy. This is a really fun thing to do. So I've made my tree. And you just want to make sure, so you can go, I'm going to go wide. So this one's vertical. I'm going to go horizontal on him. And then what I'm going to do, got some classes on mandala. So I'm going to use that technique on this. You could definitely draw your dots on, but I'm going to use the technique that we've done, just creating dots. So I'm going to put my paint out on my palette. I am using blue sapphire, which is a metallic. Again, it is the holidays. We are all about the sparkle and metallic. You could use glitterific on this. You could use color shift. You could use dragonfly. So you could really do a lot of fun things with our specialty paints that we have. They just add just enough shimmer. And then I need this pearl. So I've got like a pearl color. This is champagne, so it's like a pearly white. And I've got another green metallic. I've got so many paints over here. Okay, and then this is Christmas green, appropriate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an easy way to make dots. Again, want to make this easy and fun for you. So I'm going to use basically whatever size dot you want. You need to have a dowel rod, the end of a glue stick, the end of a pencil, or the end of a paintbrush. You can make the perfect dot with all of those. So I'm going to take the end of this giant paintbrush. This is a 1.5 inch flat brush. Again, you can use a dowel rod. You can use the back of a pencil eraser, which I'll show you. You can use a glue stick, makes an awesome dot. So I'm going to take my tree. I'm going to take the end of my paintbrush and I am going to dip it in that pearly metallic color. And I'm going to go straight down onto my paper. And all I'm doing is I'm making ornaments on my tree. No right or wrong. And I am just dotting. So just dot your tree. Now, as you change the size of the brush you're using, smaller, or the tool you're using, you're going to get different size dots. So you can use the back of an eraser. And it's also going to make beautiful dots. So very much like the mandalas. But again, so many things that you have already that you can use to create these dots. So I'm just dotting my tree. I'm adding my ornaments. It's okay if some of them go off. Then I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to do some little ones. So I'm going to go into my gold. And I am just dotting away. So again, just that mandala technique that we've done in the past, turn your brush over and create a polka dot. It creates the most perfect little polka dot. And it is so easy. The tip is you want to dip into your paint frequently. So you want to keep the end of your brush loaded and you want to go up and down. You don't want to go side to side. I kind of slipped here and went side because your dot is not going to be perfect. If you go straight up and down, you're going to get a perfect dot every time. And then I'm going to hit it with a hairdryer real quick. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, but I'm going to show you what we did is we layered on this one. So once that dries, stuck this brush right in my paint. All you need to do is layer. So take the end of your brush and you want to go biggest circle and then smaller and then all the way up. So take your dot or take your brush and go right into your paint and look what you can do. You just layer right on top. Right on top. So I am layering my dots. Can you see that? Perfect, perfect, perfect circles. layering. Wipe off the end of your brush. Again, glue sticks, pencil erasers, dowel rods, and brushes make the best, easiest dots. And it's gonna look like you had a stencil or some kind of guide and you were just using a dot. So again, you just wanna layer up your dots. So make them look like they're 3D and just layer them up. And you can see that shine there. Okay, so then all you would do is you would take your card. Again, I'm using these Recollections cards, which are great, using my Mod Podge, and I would attach this right to it and then do my stamping. So again, you can do vertical, you could do horizontal. This tree is a little more pointy. Tanisha actually made this one. And this one, I just used a wood blank from Michael's. So this is a great form. And then after, you could paint this, attach it to a card. You could do the same technique on this. You could paint it, stamp on it, and then attach it as a gift tag or attach it to your package even. So, all right. Any questions, Stephen?
No, but I have a comment that I wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
G. Vincent says, I am so excited. I've always hesitated to use the FolkArt color shift and the metallics that I had. Now I know what to do with them.
Oh my gosh, the best for cards. I don't have any right at my hands right now that I can show you, but Dragonfly color shift, all of that is perfect for cards and the metallic. And again, look at that shine. Okay, so I want to show you guys this one next. So this is a celebration, yay, New Year's, make it what you want card. But I love this technique of the fireworks, and we're going to do this with a brush. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so I've got my gold here. And I am going to trim this out again. I would use a paper trimmer, but do as I say, not as I do. I'm just going to trim him out. Again, you can paint directly on the white cardstock, so you wouldn't even need to do this. You could just take your blank white card, paint on it, and let it dry. But we've just got some paper here in the studio. Trimming this out. Not too bad for freehanding it. You guys are probably cringing at home, but that's not too bad. Okay, so again, fold your card. And again, I'm going to trim him because he's kind of long. So I'm going to kind of eyeball him. Okay, so there's my card. Let's make them even, so we can actually use these cards after. Okay, but again, you could paint directly on this pre-creased card. It's like, it's already got the seam down the middle. So I've got my card with it's painted with my gold FolkArt metallic paint. Then I'm going to do this blue shape here. So it's kind of like a little bubble, like, yay, we're yelling. And again, you could freehand this, or you can trace it, get anything that's round you can kind of use, but I'm just going to I'm going to freehand this guy. It's like a big comma. I'm just going to cut this out. And again, you could do the same technique. You could paint this and then cut it out. And I really love that technique. I would paint a whole sheet of papers and then I would trim it out. But I just want to show you guys kind of all these different techniques. And I want you to be able to see them come to life so fast that we're kind of cheating a little bit. So here's another trick. So if you're like, oh, I love how this kind of comes off of the page, how do you do that? Do I have to measure it? Just draw your shape, whether it's a tree, it's a letter, a shape, completely draw it, cut it out, and then trim it. Use this as your guide, mark it and trim it. So if you only wanted half of your tree to be on this card, I would draw my whole tree. Don't make this hard, right? And then you could just attach the tree like it was coming off your card. So the same thing with the little bubble. Draw it, cut it. What you could do, you can even take a pencil, trace the parts that you have to cut off. Make it easy. Just cut down this line. It's going to fit right on your card. So again, really easy, looks super like I thought this out, but really easy way to do it. Okay, so I am going to paint my bursts on here. Again, you could do this on the full sheet and then cut your shape out. Either way, I'm just going to show you guys. I feel like it's more impactful if I just paint right on this. Okay, so I'm going to do the, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using another flat brush and I'm going to create these bursts. So I need black. I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to use this green on the blue. So this is the thicket. So you could use black, white, gold. I've already got my gold out. I'm going to add some fresh thicket. You could use absolutely any color. And I'm going to dip right down in my brush. And I'm going to do a burst. Does that make sense? I'll hold it up in a second. So all I'm doing is I'm creating the burst. So does that make sense? I'm going to do gold. I feel like you guys will be able to see gold better. I'm going to see my brush out. You just want to make sure your brush is really dry. So you don't want your brush to be wet when you go back into your paint. So just make sure your brush is really dry. So I'm going to use gold here. So again, same technique. I'm just going to pounce line by line. Now these can overlap. So do you see what you're doing? We're making these little bursts and stars. A great technique. And again, I'm working on palette paper, so it's okay if my paint goes off of my edge. I'm going to rinse this. Now you can change this up also, just like we did before with the brush strokes. Grab a different size brush. Grab a different size brush. And it's going to make it easy to get a different size burst. So if you want little bursts, this is great for snowflakes. So this is a great technique to make snowflakes, super easy. So you could do this whole card instead of like, I'm calling them fireworks. You could totally do this just as stars. Really fun stars. And I'm just putting the brush in my paint and I'm going straight down and I'm moving my brush around. I'm not making a star. I'm not painting or using brush strokes. I'm literally just tapping down on my paper. And then, so this we did black and gold and we did giant ones. You can see that metallic. And then we just, so we would attach this right to the card. This is wet, attaches to the card. And then we're going to stamp again. So again, cheers, yay. You could do the year. So if you wanted to do numbers, so easy. So again, I'm going to go right in my blue here. So again, dip or paint on either one. Test it out. Always recommend testing before you go right onto your paper. Just make sure you're comfortable and you know the right amount of pressure. Right? So I have a question. Maybe you guys know this. You guys are probably all going to think this is so silly. And so if you're sending out a New Year's card, do you put the year you are in or the year you are going to? What would you do, Stephen?
I would probably put the year that we're going to.
The year we're going to and not the year you're in.
Everybody in the chat is saying going to.
Going to. Okay, so we need 2022, which is Banana Town, people. Okay, so look how cute. 2022, again, once this dries, use your Mod Podge. So again, just gonna grab my brush, using Mod Podge as my glue and sealer. I already have some on my palette paper. I would paint the back just like I did the leaves, and I would do the tree. And you would attach that right on. Now this is still damp because I'm rushing. But again, such a cute little card. Love this. Yay, 2022. Really fun to do. Okay, and then last but not least, we have our Hanukkah inspired card. So again, you could do this for any celebration, any belief, any religion. This is just such a great way to personalize for people. You know, I love this crafting. I love the people. I love the industry that it's just such a great way to express yourself and personalize things. Okay, I'm just wiping my stamps off. Again, if you have not stamped with paint, it's really fun and easy to do. You don't need to have inks and it cleans up right off of your stamps. I'm just using a baby wipe. Okay, so last but not least, we've got our light, and I just want to show you guys this technique really quick. So I'm going to use this blue paper. Again, I painted it with our ultramarine blue. This is a great, beautiful, bright blue. This is the same blue I used for our New Year's card. Great background for snow if you want to do that technique and make it snow. And I'm just gonna cut a square out again. So remember I talked about cookie cutters or letters. So you could, this is a great time to do that. If you wanted to, I would use a different cookie cutter shape, but look, just use your cookie cutter as a stencil. Just trace your little mitten right out and then you've got a shape. You already have your cookie cutter. You've got some of these letters laying around, just use this. Trace it out and cut it out. This is a great, just use your H. So it's like the perfect H. You don't need to get any crazy cutting machines out or special stencils. Just use what you have and you could just cut this H right out. Again, I love the cookie cutter idea. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut my square out. Okay. And this is gonna attach right to your card. So if you want to go smaller, bigger, right to your card. I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to attach this now so it sticks on there. Again, I feel like if you're having a party or you're doing this, you're like, hey, I am making cards. It is my card today. I've got coffee, tea, glass of wine, and I'm going to put my music on or my favorite movie and I'm going to make cards. You would totally assembly line this out. You would paint all your paper and all your patterns, and then you'd cut and then you can assemble. Since we're just doing this in about an hour, I want to show you guys a lot of inspiration. And I'm hoping you guys are getting lots of techniques and tips. And, if you haven't used this product before, it is really fun. FolkArt's amazing. Mod Podge, you've got to have. This is just stuff to always have in your craft room. And it's available at Michael's and michaels.com. I know they've got a lot of great ways to get product to you. It's still early enough. Again, just a really fun thing to do by yourself or with friends. So I'm using Mod Podge. You just want to make sure you get your corners. It's going to dry completely clear. So I'm going to let that dry. Give it a second. Has anybody started Christmas shopping yet? Steven, is anybody going to answer me? It's so weird. I'm just talking to the phone. See, Mod Podge is great on Mod Podge is great on fabric. So we actually make a fabric Mod Podge, which is awesome on fabric. Yes. Great for ornaments. Get your Mod Podge, stock your craft room, be ready to go this year. Okay, so glued that on. Then I'm just going to take a brush again. I'm going to make this really, really, really easy. So this is a round brush. Now you could use a flat. I'm going to use a round brush. I'm going to go right into my yellow. So I've got a little bit brighter yellow for these candles here. I'm going to use a medium yellow. And right on my palette, medium yellow. And I'm just going to take my round brush again, put it down and pull. And these are supposed to look hand painted. So if your candle is not perfect, but I do want to make sure that I get the right amount of candles. Okay. Want to make sure I had 8 on that one too. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 candles. And then the same with the flames. So you could use a gold. So if you're like, oh, I like the yellow candle, but I want to add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine, do the same thing. And because I'm using a round brush, you just basically tap your brush down and pull up. You see how easy that makes the little flames? I'm just pushing down and pulling up. That's like the perfect flame. So simple and easy. Okay. And then this one we just cut, we painted a piece of paper yellow, cut it out, and then wrote the word light. Oh, I need one more candle. Sorry, guys. Okay. So we've got that on there. And then I'm just going to use the word light. And again, the same way that we did the others, grab your rubber stencil. You could use a stamp. You could use a stencil also. I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to actually use this blue and I'm going to stencil with the blue again. So again, so easy. You could put a name on there. You could put a greeting, a personalized greeting if you wanted to make it more personal than generic. But again, so fun for the kids to do, the whole family. We do my son loves to watch cooking shows. He's 10 now. And we always do like a cookie bake off challenge, like decorating challenge. But like this would be really fun to do for cards. Like who made the best card? Who made the biggest card, the most sparkly card, if you want to get the whole family involved. Okay, and then I'm just going to add my tea on here. You guys, I can't find my tea. Okay, here's the tea. Okay, and then I'm just painting on my stamp. Again, you can dip in, but I really like just to paint on because you can really control it. My hands are dirty, sorry guys. Okay. So again, 2 great versions, but just a great way to personalize. Again, you could use all these techniques on cards. You could use it on gift wrap. So you could buy at Michael's just large rolls of white or brown paper or any color wrapping paper. And you could do all these techniques and on gift bags, like blank gift bags. And you could stamp and you could cut and you could paint right on there. You could put these trees all over gift bags or your packaging. Just a really great way to personalize and try something new. Yay, I hope everybody enjoyed. So you guys, we want to pick a winner. So we're going to mail you FolkArt and Mod Podge. So Stephen, can you pick a person? But I want to tell you guys how we need you to reach out to us. So we're going to pick a person at random in the chat. We haven't done this in a while, but it's the holidays and I'm so excited. Then I need you to go to our Plaids Facebook page. So Plaid Crafts Facebook page and direct message us with your name and let us know that you won in the 12 days of card making class with us. And we will get in touch with you. Our social manager, Tamara, will reach out to you, get your shipping information, and we're going to send you FolkArt paint, brushes, and Mod Podge so you can craft along with us all season. So Stephen, you want to pick a winner?
Yeah, I have a winner ready. You guys ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, our winner for today is Jan Barlow.
All right, Jan
Barlow.
I'm glad you picked. I hate picking because I want to give everything away to everybody. It's the most stressful part for me. So Jan, go to Plaid Crafts Facebook page and direct message us and let us know that you watched the class and your name was pulled and we're going to send you product out. You guys, thank you so much. When you make your cards or any projects, you want to hashtag Make It With Michaels and Plaid Crafts. We love to see what you guys make. Thank you so much for having us. It is such a joy to be able to inspire you. We hope you learned something new and you're going to try some new product. And we'll see you guys next week. We'll be here. Kirsten is doing some beautiful ornaments on Monday. She is teaching, gosh, I wish I had them, hand-painted ornaments on Monday. So check it out. You can sign up on michaels.com on the community classroom page. Join her. Kirsten's amazing. So she's going to be teaching those. So you guys, thank you so much. We will see you later.